I don't love to hate you.
The words, spoken softly, brought me to a halt. I turned to face him, and then, because I was feeling temperamental, I closed the distance between us. "What do you want, Lucian?" I demanded, looking up at him. He said nothing. I knew there were feelings and ideas and a freaking personality beneath that beautiful surface, but he'd cut me off from it all. "You treat me like I'm the worst person on the planet, and then you do sneaky nice things for my parents. You hire homeless single mothers. You pick fights with me, and then you have my favorite burrito delivered. How in the hell do you know what my favorite burrito is anyway?" He took a step toward me, but I held up a hand before he could answer. "You know what? Never mind. I don't want to know. The only thing I do want to know is, what do you want from me?" For one brief, shining moment, the man looming over me like a pissed-off vampire about to take a bite looked as miserable as I felt.
I want you not to matter at all,
he said. His tone was calm, but there was heat, a silvery fire in those gray eyes. It was rude, I'd give him that, but it felt like a damn victory, a heady one. I was tired of being the temperamental one, of feeling like I was the only one driven to distraction by our mean-spirited back-and-forths. I mattered to him, and he hated that. "Back at you, big guy."
You should go,
he said suddenly. "Why? Don't you like having me here in this very nice office?" I wandered over to his desk. It was a huge pane of glass with sharp corners, empty except for a keyboard, mouse, and 2 monitors. I wondered if he liked order or just hated chaos. I trailed my fingers along the beveled edge, knowing full well I was leaving smudges. "You seem upset," I said, pausing and locking eyes with him. "Want to talk about it?" I offered before hopping up to perch on the glass surface. His gaze darkened dangerously, and he took a few steps in my direction before stopping. My heart rate kicked up.
I don't like who either of us becomes when we're together,
he said. I scoffed. "You think I like this?"
I think you love it.
Had he moved closer, or was I leaning toward him? My knees were almost close enough to brush the sharp creases of his trousers. We were magnetized to each other, enemies drawn together again and again. I was so damn tired of it. There was an electric tension growing in the space between us, like when the hair on your arms stands up just before a lightning strike. "I don't," I insisted huffily. Then my knees were brushing his legs, and he was stepping between them, parting my thighs as I craned my neck to look at him. My breath caught. His fingers flexed at his sides, and then they ghosted over the tops of my thighs before he planted his hands on either side of my hips. God, he even smelled gorgeous. Lucian dominated my senses. The subtle gray stripes in his tie matched his eyes exactly. The heat pumping off his body felt like I'd entered a sauna. His scent was crisp, clean, deadly. I could hear a heartbeat, and it was loud enough to think maybe it belonged to both of us.
You do. You think that one of these days you'll land exactly the right insult, and you'll be able to see through my cracks.
His voice was barely above a threatening whisper. His gaze was locked on mine,